The courts are limited in their powers. Because Jason's not a persistent offender, or wasn't classed as a persistent offender, they were very limited in what they could actually do. So, you know, it's not as though they could give him a community service because he hadn't offended enough. The fact that he had a final warning and then a referral order, I think was the exact route to take, because I really feel they nipped it in the bud.
The basic idea of what a referral order is that it is an order that is made in the court but transferred to the community for the community to run. It's an order that runs between 3 and 12 months, and it's an order that the court retain control of the order, and they ask the community in conjunction with the youth offending team to supervise the running of that order.
There are very limited resources out there to help young teenagers or kids that offend. I struggled for quite some time to even get a social worker involved because I was continually being told I didn't meet the criteria. As soon as the yacht team became involved, they were able to assist, and they were able to open up quite a few doors in me getting extra help via a social worker for Jason. And if you bring them all together, the more help you can get. It certainly worked.
So they'd be just like the courtroom when I went into that meeting. They just wanted to help. You know that. In the courtroom they don't help you. But in the panel meeting they do. I know the people you with. Like my youth offending guy. He just wants to help me. He just wants to keep me out of trouble.
The panellists, they explained what they was going to do. They was going to bring the offender in at a later time. We sat down, she spoke to Daniel and then spoke to me. They explained what was there for, you know, the offending team. They explained everything to us, and after that they says, right, before we go any further, I must advise you, we don't want no bad language or getting out of angry, which you do feel. I says, oh, that's all right. I says, I'm just going to be calm and collected, like, you know, and let everybody have the say.
I think being a victim, there's a lot of questions that need asking. Why me? Why was it my car? Why was it my house? Why was it my handbag? And the victim has a chance to air those feelings, and that's very, very important. And that young person also has the chance to see if they are committing a crime, then it's a crime against a person, it's not a crime against a thing. There are feelings behind a crime.
It was very useful because you can face your opponent and you can get your feelings out. Daniel, when he went, you can express your feelings to the person, and you can either, you know, advise him, well, try to advise him if you can, to you know, not to break the law.
You can see that you know, it's only a 13-year-old lad that's stolen your car. You know, it's not some heavy thug or anything. You know, because when you've had your car stolen, in my case, you always think they're going to come back again. You know, this is always at the back of your mind. And I think when you see it, he's just a 11, 12, 13, 14-year-old. That does put your mind at ease a little bit.
You know, I couldn't believe it when I seen him, how small he was. I thought, well, you know, putting his mum and dad through all this and stealing Daniel's bike, his birthday present, he thought world on it, like, you know, we were looking after it and putting it away at night, and when lad stole it, like, we went looking for him, but we couldn't find him.
It's important for the young people to see that there is a consequence to their offences, and nobody can better illustrate that than the person they've offended against.
It does make the young offenders confront what they've done. And so often in the past, they never had to confront what they'd done, so they never understood what they'd done. They never understood that by shoplifting they were affecting everybody. By taking somebody's purse, just the effect it would have on somebody. Nobody ever told them about it.
You know, you struggle to save money to get a bike for his birthday. You promise something for his birthday, and you think, well, I've saved all that money. He's gone in 2 seconds. And if you got hold of him, yeah, I could have wrung his neck. But when I went to the panel, and I sat there, and they were talking to me how they was feeling, and how I was feeling, how Daniel was feeling, I just put my feelings out to them, and it was good.
Most victim offender mediations or meetings are actually not aggressive or unpleasant. Most victims aren't really interested in retribution. They want explanations and questions answered because of fears that might have arisen out of the crime. So they're really looking for that type of outcome from it.
I said, Ricky, why did you steal my bike? And he didn't answer the question. So when
He did, Daniel. He answered the question. He said he was bored, didn't he?
yeah, I remember that, but he could just give it me back, couldn't he?
What did the lady say after that?
She asked me some questions, didn't she?
Yeah, what question did she ask you? She asked you what?
I can't remember.
Says, do you think it was the wrong thing to do? And Ricky says yes, didn't he?
Yep.
I think a lot of the young people that are involved don't think of the consequences of their actions on the victim, and that in fact if they had an opportunity to explore those consequences and be put face to face with the victim and see the harm and the terror that they can cause and how much they can destroy people's lives, they would actually have far more of an understanding why that isn't an acceptable way to behave. And again, because you've got the possibility of working with both the young offender and the victim, it's a good way of being able to feel you're doing something constructive both for that young person and for the victim.
After the meeting, and was outside, I says to Daniel, I says, look at that, Daniel. He stole your bike. You've heard things about what he's done. I put advice Daniel, I said, don't try and be like him. You know, trying to be a good lad for your dad. And he says, I don't want to be like him, Dad. And I was, you know, proud as punch when he said it.
I think the most important thing when you're communicating with young people is you try and show them from the start respect. There's no way you should try and look down on them or anything. They've been to court. They're not at the panel to be judged by us. We're there to try and help them. And from the moment they walk in the door, you try to make them feel at ease, and quite often their parents, make everybody feel at ease so that we can sort of shake hands, sit down, introduce ourselves, first name basis, I always find that's best, and then explain the ground rules, etc., etc. But I think respect and try and make people try and feel at ease, that's the important thing.